Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty personal, often sensitive, natural breast enhancement. Our goal is really to cut through the noise. There are so many claims, counterclaims. We want to figure out what might actually work, what's just talk, and what science tells us. For this deep dive, we've pulled together some really interesting sources. There are a couple of YouTube videos, one from the Yoga Institute with Dr. Hansaji, kind of a holistic view, and then a personal story from Kelly Bernard. On the other side, we've got more clinical takes, an article from Healthline, which was medically reviewed, and a blog post from Barrett Plastic Surgery. So the idea is to walk through these different viewpoints with you, see where they line up, where they clash. Hopefully you'll come away feeling, well, better informed. Okay, so before we jump into all the methods people talk about, let's just lay the groundwork. What actually determines breast size in the first place, scientifically speaking?
Right. It's complex, not just one single thing. It really boils down to a mix of your genetics, hormones, definitely body weight, your lifestyle plays a role, and even where you are in life, like pregnancy or aging. And remember, breasts are mostly fatty tissue, glandular tissue, and supportive tissue. That fatty tissue, that's largely what dictates the overall size. And yeah, those life stages you mentioned, they can make a real difference. For instance, some data suggests something like 61% of people notice a change after menopause. That's quite a lot.
61%. Wow.
Yeah. And pregnancy, of course, that's a big one. Larger breasts can be one of the first signs. That's due to more progesterone. Then prolactin kicks in for milk production and growth. Even just your monthly cycle. Hormonal shifts can make breasts feel fuller, maybe a bit swollen sometimes. And things like hormone replacement therapy, HRT, or hormonal birth control, those can also cause more tenderness, maybe soreness.
61% after menopause. That really does highlight how much our bodies change throughout life. It's not static at all. So, okay, if those are the main drivers, genetics, hormones, weight, life stage, what does that really mean for trying to naturally change size? Because this is where it gets, well, really interesting, right? The sources we have seem to completely disagree.
They really do.
Yeah.
It's quite stark. You've got one source laying out all these natural ways to enhance breast size. And then another one stating pretty bluntly, natural remedies and lifestyle changes cannot enhance breast size. So, yeah, polar opposites.
Let's start with the first perspective then. Dr. Hansaji from the Yoga Institute. People often look towards yoga and holistic practices for wellness. What's her take on this?
Dr. Hansaji presents a very holistic, kind of interconnected view. She has 6 main points. First is achieving optimal hormone balance. This involves general lifestyle things, managing stress, sleeping well, not drinking too much alcohol, keeping a healthy weight. Pretty standard wellness advice, really.
Okay.
Second, she talks about diet, specifically including foods rich in phytoestrogens. These are plant compounds that can sort of mimic estrogen. So things like milk, curd, paneer, cheese, soya, almond milk, leafy greens, nuts, seeds. She even mentions soaking fenugreek seeds overnight and drinking the water. And she points to soya specifically for breast tissue growth.
Fenugreek and soya. Interesting. What else?
Third point is breast massage. She suggests regular massage could stimulate circulation, maybe even promote tissue growth, using essential oils like fennel, lavender, rosemary, or just moisturizers. She even brings up a paste made from red lentils for firmness, or using fenugreek oil directly.
Massage. Okay.
Fourth is asanas and exercises. Specific yoga poses like Ustrasana, that's camel pose to stretch the chest, Gomukhasana, cow face pose to open it up, Bhujangasana, cobra pose for strengthening, and also more targeted chest exercises. Wall presses, arm circles, dumbbell pullovers, things like that.
So yoga poses and specific muscle exercises. Got it.
Fifth is pranayama, which are breathing techniques. She mentions a few: the intercostal technique, clavicular breathing, abdominal breathing, and Bhastrika, or bellows breath, that one on an empty stomach.
Breathing techniques too. Okay.
And finally, her 6th point is maybe the most fundamental. It's about acceptance and self-confidence. Embracing a positive mindset, not comparing yourself to others, recognizing that, everybody is unique and beautiful.
That's a really broad approach, isn't it? Covering everything from diet and exercise to breathing and mindset. So is the idea that these things directly cause enhancement, or is it more about overall health having a potential side effect?
It seems she's suggesting a more direct link,
Yeah.
especially with the diet and massage aspects, potentially promoting tissue growth alongside the general health benefit.
Okay. But then, how does this very holistic view stack up against the other sources, particularly the more medical one, Healthline?
Yeah, here's where the clash happens. Healthline's take, which is medically reviewed, is pretty different. Their short answer is basically, it's highly unlikely you'll be able to alter the shape of your breasts naturally. They follow up saying, the truth is that there are very few things you can do naturally that will increase the overall size of your breast or chest tissues. Pretty direct.
Wow. Okay, so how do they address Dr. Hansaji's specific points, like diet or massage?
Well, on diet, Healthline says flat out, diet alone will not impact your breast size. They do concede that general weight gain increases fatty tissue everywhere, including the chest, but that's different.
Right, weight gain affects the whole body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For self-massage, Healthline's equally clear. No, you cannot massage your breasts into becoming larger.
So a direct contradiction there. What about creams? Lots of those advertised.
Healthline looked at over-the-counter creams, often containing those phytoestrogens Dr. Hansaji mentioned, or things like aphrodisiacs and adaptogens. Their conclusion: no research suggests these ingredients work. They do make an important distinction, though. This isn't the same as prescription estrogen therapy used in gender affirmation, which can medically induce breast growth. That's different.
Okay, important distinction. And pumps, those devices you sometimes see.
Healthline notes that while some products claim increases of 1 or even 2 cup sizes, scientific research doesn't support this, and user reviews vary. So, no solid proof there either, according to them.
So Healthline is essentially saying, forget diet, forget massage, forget creams, forget pumps for actual breast size increase. It sounds like general weight gain is the only thing they acknowledge that affects fatty tissue there.
Pretty much, yes. It's a very skeptical stance based on the current medical evidence they reviewed.
But wait, didn't you say both sources mentioned exercise? Is there common ground there?
Ah, yes. This is where it gets nuanced. Both Dr. Hansaji and Healthline do talk about exercise, but they frame the outcome differently. Healthline clarifies that exercise cannot increase the size of the actual breast tissue, the fat and glands.
Okay.
But it can strengthen, increase the density, and improve the tone of the pectoral muscles underneath the breasts.
Ah, okay. So it's working the muscle, not the breast itself.
Exactly. And building up those pecs can change the overall look of the chest. It might make the breast appear perkier or slightly fuller. For some people, it might even mean needing a larger bra size because the chest circumference changes.
I see. So it's an indirect effect on appearance, potentially, by building the muscle below.
Precisely. It's not the same as making the breasts themselves bigger.
So what exercises does Healthline recommend for that muscle building?
They list several effective ones for building chest muscles. Dumbbell chest press, dumbbell pec fly, alternating dumbbell press, good old push-ups, stability ball chest press, up-down plank, and the dumbbell pullover.
Okay. And does that list overlap with Dr. Hantaji's recommendations at all?
It does, partially. Remember Dr. Hansaji mentioned wall presses, arm circles, and dumbbell pullovers?
Right.
So there's some agreement on the types of movements that target the chest muscles, like the dumbbell pullover. The key difference is the claimed outcome muscle development versus actual breast enhancement.
That makes sense. It clarifies the exercise point significantly. Okay, so we have the holistic view, the skeptical scientific view. What about our third source, the personal story from Kelly Bernard? How does that fit in?
Kelly Bernard's account is fascinating because it seems to directly contradict Healthline's perspective, at least on the surface. She claims she successfully increased her breast size by a full cup from a 42A to a 42B in about 6.5 months.
A full cup size? How?
She says she used something called Curvy Bust Cream. She describes it as an all-natural breast tissue enhancement cream with natural botanical ingredients.
An all-natural cream, and she felt it worked.
Yes. She reported feeling soreness right after the first use and noticed growth specifically in her breasts without gaining weight overall. Her video is basically a strong endorsement, recommending others try it.
So, one person's experience versus the broader scientific consensus from Healthline, which says creams don't work.
Exactly. And that really highlights the core tension here, doesn't it? Personal anecdotes and testimonials can be powerful, but they don't always align with what larger studies find. It makes navigating this topic tricky.
Definitely tricky. Okay, so we've explored the natural landscape, the hopeful holistic methods, the scientific skepticism, the conflicting personal accounts. What if someone feels these natural routes aren't delivering, or they want a more definite change? What are the established options, especially if they still want a natural look?
Right. And that brings us to the Bayer plastic surgery source. Their focus isn't on natural methods, but on achieving natural-looking results through surgical enhancement. They emphasize how much techniques have advanced.
Okay, so surgery, but aiming for subtlety, proportion.
Exactly. They outline 2 main surgical routes. The first, and probably most well-known, is breast implants.
Right. What are the key things to know there?
Well, first, the type of implant matters. There's saline, which is filled with sterile salt water. A potential downside is rippling. You might see folds under the skin, especially if you're quite thin, and they don't feel exactly like natural tissue.
Okay.
Benefits are they can be used in younger patients, need a smaller incision, and if they rupture, the body just absorbs the salt water safely.
And the other type.
Silicone. These have a thick gel inside that feels and moves more like natural breast tissue. They also tend to ripple less. So for achieving that natural feel and look, silicone is often preferred.
Makes sense. What about shape? I've heard there are different shapes.
Yes, shape is crucial for a natural look. Round implants give more fullness, especially up top, creating cleavage. But if they're too large for the person's frame, they can look obviously artificial. Then there are teardrops or anatomical implants. They're shaped more like a natural breast, thinner at the top, fuller at the bottom. These often give the most natural-looking silhouette, less done-looking fullness up high.
Interesting. And size, that must be a big factor.
Huge.
Yeah.
The source really stresses that size has to be proportionate. The implants need to fit the patient's natural breast dimensions and their overall body type. They have a great line. For smaller or athletic frames, don't go big or you'll wish you stayed home. But someone with a larger frame might handle a larger implant beautifully and still look natural. It's all about balance.
Don't go big or you'll wish you stayed home. That's memorable. Okay, so implants are one route. What's the other main surgical option?
The other option, which is quite popular now, is fat transfer. This avoids implants altogether.
How does that work?
Basically, the surgeon uses liposuction to harvest the patient's own fat from somewhere else, like the tummy, thighs, love handles, wherever there's a bit extra.
Right.
That fat is then processed, purified, and carefully injected into the breast to add volume.
Using your own fat. What are the advantages of that?
The big one is that the result looks and feels completely natural because it is your own body tissue. Plus, you get the bonus of contouring the area where the fat was taken from.
Ah, like a 2-in-1 procedure?
Kind of, yeah. Also, no scars on the breasts themselves, just tiny ones from the liposuction. And no risks associated with implants, like allergic reactions or device complications.
Sounds great. Are there downsides?
Yes, there are limitations. It's generally not for someone wanting a really dramatic size increase. You can usually only go up about a cup size, maybe a bit more, per session.
Oh.
And you need to have enough spare fat to harvest. So very slim individuals might not be candidates for fat transfer alone.
Got it. So implants for potentially bigger changes, fat transfer for potentially more subtle, very natural results using your own tissue.
That's a good summary. And regardless of the method, the source can't stress enough how vital it is to choose the right surgeon.
What should people look for?
Board certification is key. Extensive experience, specifically in breast surgery. You want to see a strong track record, look at their before and after photos, read patient reviews, and importantly, find a surgeon who really listens, understands your goals for a natural look, and partners with you to pick the best approach for your specific anatomy.
Makes perfect sense. Choosing the right surgeon seems paramount for any procedure, but especially when aiming for that natural aesthetic. Wow, okay. We've really journeyed through a lot here, haven't we? From Dr. Hansaji's holistic, all-encompassing approach to Healthline's pretty firm scientific skepticism about most natural methods.
Right.
Then Kelly Bernard's personal success story that seems to defy that skepticism.
Yeah, the contrast is striking.
Then finally, landing on the surgical options designed specifically for achieving that natural look, even if the method itself is medical. It's such a wide range.
It really is.
Yeah.
And maybe, the biggest takeaway sits somewhere in the middle of all that. While lifestyle and wellness are always good, and surgery offers clear physical changes, perhaps the most powerful thing comes back to that point about acceptance, echoed by both Dr. Hansaji and even implicitly by Healthline's focus on facts over hope. As they both suggest in different ways, at the end of the day, your breast size doesn't determine your beauty or value. Feeling good in your skin, understanding your body, aligning expectations, that seems key, whatever path you explore or choose not to.
That's a great point to end on. So, thinking about everything we've discussed, the different views on what natural even means in this context, the science, the personal stories, the surgical artistry, what stands out most to you? Is there a piece of information, maybe a contradiction, that you find particularly compelling or confusing as you reflect on all this? It really leaves you thinking about how much the nuances matter, just as much as the claims themselves.